time it is!
Thanks for checking out the C Squared Hour. I am your host, Chris, bringing you my Olympic recap episode. Not only that, but I'm doing another late night recording because, like bats and hookers, I tend to do my best work at night. Obviously, before I get too far into this, I'm going to have to tell you guys where the other Chris is. He heard some troubling news about, and I'm going to get to this news in a little bit, so... He heard news about kind of New York City and what they're trying to require for restaurants and things along those lines with the vaccine and being required to be vaccinated and what have you. He saw that and just this light bulb went off. He said, you know what, if we look back at what happened during Vietnam and the draft and all those things, I bet I could get a movement going. So he's trying to. He's finding all these young people who are vaccinated with their, little vaccine cards or what have you. And he's going all over and he's trying to get, you remember the students or the young people burning the conscientious objectors, burning their draft cards. And, well, he's trying to get the same thing happening with these, the vaccine passes or whatever the fuck they give you. The issue he's running into is the target demographic for that is unfortunately, obviously, very pro-vaccine. So he's running into an issue. All he's getting are the right-wing QAnon people who are just all about it. And he's like, no. To really get this to change, we have to get the young people. We have to get and none of them are showing up. But by God, he's determined. And he says, you know what? I'm going to make sure this goes. So he's going all across the country. And last I heard, and he's traveled probably a solid 16 days now. And he's picked up 4, which is more than 0. So gotta commend him. Also, I'm not going to go too far into this, but I am going to have to say, Randy, offer's still there, bud. Let's do it. Still waiting. I know I beat your ass golfing this weekend, but, that doesn't satisfy my urge to really, really get in the ring. I'm sorry, beating you golfing is just not going to do it. So, that's all I'm going to say about it. I've said enough. Everyone, when you see him, talk to him. Let him know the offer stands, or publicly say you're afraid of me. One of those two things. You have those two options. I'm giving you both. Oh, by the way, I was asked why I haven't shouted out beers in the last couple episodes. And I read something, and if anyone in marketing or anything along those lines knows anything that I don't, because I am pretty dumb, feel free to reach out to me. But what I read was, if you're drinking a specific beer or specific kind of beer, you might limit your potential advertising range. So if I'm only drinking local craft breweries, I think I almost said that right that time. Hot damn. It might alienate, or national companies might think, well, let's not waste our time with this. Same vice versa. Or if I only drink domestic, then, international beer companies wouldn't want to. Because you may not know this, but I have quite the international following out there. They may be turned off by it. So that's why I haven't been shouting them out. Just know that the only way I can get here and spout off what I spout off for an hour is by drinking. So I am drinking beer. If you have any recommendations, tell me. I'll shout them out. I'll shout you out. And then we'll go from there. By the way, just as a quick update to my last episode, I looked it up. There is no better word for conspiracy. I've been looking, I look at numerous thesaurus websites, nothing. Couldn't find a goddamn thing. So I'm going to be saying it a lot because I come up with a lot of them. I like a lot of them. I believe in some of them. That's the only word I know for it. And none of the other words I saw really, really, really capture what the fuck I'm talking about. So, as I mentioned, what came up, I was going to spend this whole time talking about Olympics, but what came up since my last episode, I saw a article that New York is going to require people to be vaccinated before entering restaurants, private companies, things like that. So if you want to go to a restaurant, you're going to absolutely have to be vaccinated. I don't know if that officially passed. I don't know if it's going to pass. I don't know if that's a thing. But that was the headline. Am I the only one that feels dirty hearing that? Feeling just, I don't know, it doesn't seem right. It doesn't feel right. It feels, you think of the words, like totalitarianism. Well, I can't even say it, but you think of those big things, and I don't want to overstate it because it's not that, but it's a small, and again, the more I try to explain what I'm feeling about it, the more I sound like a wacko douche. But it seems like a small step before you're going to have to prove you're vaccinated. You're going to have to enter private residence. I understand if you want to require people, if they're going to go into public buildings or if they're going to go into, I don't like that, but I can get behind it. If you're going to a public school, you have to be, I get it. I get that part of it. But if you're going to a private establishment, you have to be vaccinated now, not just wearing a mask, but actually be vaccinated. It just doesn't feel good. It feels like it's just another slight test onto saying, like, what can we do? What can we do to really say, and again, I'm feeling and sounding like one of those people, and it really bugs me, but how do I not see that headline and think, ugh, it just doesn't seem, I don't know, am I going to have to show a card that says I don't have the flu if I want to go get breakfast one of these days, that don't need glasses? Well, you already have to have glasses if you're on your life. If it sounds like I'm having a hard time describing what I'm feeling about it and describing kind of where my mind's going with it, is because I'm not exactly sure. I know it feels dirty and wrong. I know that. And it's the whole private company thing, and it's the whole, personal choice, all those wrapped together. But it's not as simple as those arguments. So I don't know what the fuck to do. I don't know how to explain it to myself, and you would want to think, seeing something that dumb, seeing something that nutty, maybe not dumb, but that nutty, seeing something that would be illegal, would go to higher courts and would basically say, no, you can't do that. You can't require a medical procedure to go to a restaurant. Am I going to have to get knee surgery before I go to Applebee's in 2 years? God, that's just shitty analogies. I'm workshopping it with you folks here. I'm trying to figure out how it is, but that's kind of what it feels like. You would think that would go to higher courts. You would think they would go and say, yeah, there's no way you could fucking allow that. But there's been so much shit over the past year, 16 months or what, that you think, oh yeah, that shouldn't happen. That would never happen. And it just slowly happened. And higher courts haven't seen anything. There hasn't been as much pushback as you think there would be. Yes, there's been pushback on the masks and all this stuff, but not the way that there should be. Not from the people you would truly want it to come from and think it would come from. So I don't know. I would hope it would go to higher courts and they would just say, yeah. But New York City. I'm glad I went there 3 days before they shut everything down. The last bastion of what it used to be. I feel like I was like the last guy who picked up a daytime hooker in Times Square. Like, I saw New York City back when it was New York City. Back when it was. And once again, I hate to be right, but the only real pushback you have seen in New York when it comes to, and again, I'm not in New York, so there might be some at local levels or in Syracuse or Buffalo, but it seems that Governor Cuomo has been okay with pushing back on shit that de Blasio or the city of New York has tried to put through, that he said, this doesn't seem right. Well, the Illuminati got him too. They got him. They wanted to make sure, hey, we're trying to push this shit through. We got to start in New York. Obviously. You start in New York. And, the governor hasn't been quite on board with all this as we want him to. Alright, so now those sexual allegations are gonna come to light. Now we're done hiding them for you, bud. So, yep, now he, all those came out. Oddly, they really hit the fan the day that was announced. And wouldn't you know, he had to resign. I sure as fuck hope I get this wrong. I sure as hell hope that I am not exactly right this time. But it's going to be, the lieutenant governor who takes over for however long until the next. I guarantee you, I don't guarantee, anytime I guarantee something, I'm backward ass wrong. So, I would be willing to bet. Oh, shit, I shouldn't do that. I'm terrible betting too. I will say, I think that whoever the lieutenant governor is, I probably should have looked that up again, but guys, remember, I'm dumb. Whoever the lieutenant governor is, and whoever they get in next time, is going to go along with all those crazy ideas, not crazy, but just the extreme left, extreme anti-personal choice shit that has come up in the last 16 months from the left side of things. Gonna go along with it blindly. You are not gonna have to see Mayor de Blasio debate one thing until he's out of there. He's up for re-election this year, isn't he? Anyway, anything he tries to push back that everyone's like, ugh, you're not gonna have to see him debate that anymore. The only person who seemed to be pushing back on that with any sort of national intention was Cuomo. He's gone. So, New World Order got him too. Again, I'm not saying the females are lying. I'm not saying these didn't happen. I'm saying they stopped covering it up. I'm saying this probably happens a lot more, but people who play ball get it covered up a little more. You can say, oh, what about Clinton? He was playing ball. No, Clinton did it as a distraction for what was going on in Yugoslavia. That's why his came up. His actually benefited him for what was going on over there. So, don't even give me the Clinton argument, all right? So now that I got that, the Orwellian 1984, And now that I got that out of the way, let me go into my Olympic recap. I know you've all been waiting for it. I'm going to start with a couple quick ones here. No matter what sport you're watching, I don't know if anyone noticed this, if it has a female color commentator, they sound exactly the same regardless of the sport. No, I'm not trying to be insulting. I'm not trying to be... If you watch other sports, you can tell when there's a female commentator. You can tell them apart, but not at the Olympics. I just found that odd. You watch water polo, and then you go over to another one of the games that no one gives a flying fuck about, and you would think it was the same woman. I couldn't name any of the men color commentators either for most of the sports. I mean, you get Sean Porter was the boxing guy. I'm a Sean Porter fan, so obviously I knew that. And Salvador Perez, who's but I guess that's all I didn't watch as much as Olympics as I used to. But yeah, you can always tell him the track and field guy. You could always tell him apart from the men's volleyball guy. Always. But the females, you just can't. Or it could be, maybe I don't have it's like if you're from Germany, you can hear each type of German accent, but we can't hear it as Americans. Or maybe it's that. Maybe just having a pipe. I can't hear all the intricacies of a woman's voice. Unless our number started with a 900. I didn't do a whole lot of listening in my life. So, there's hot take number 1. See, you don't get this shit on SportsCenter. That's right. That's what I'm here for. I watched a bit of the female Olympic basketball. I'm not talking shit about it or anything. Don't worry. Everybody, before you start anti-woking me, you're gonna dig this point of view, I promise. Watching I will be the first one to tell you, I don't watch women's basketball. For no other reason than it bores me and I have better shit to do. But besides that, I have no problem with it. But obviously it's the Olympics, so hey, I'm watching other sports that don't fucking matter. May as well watch this one too. And I start looking up, the roster and going through it. And what I'm noticing is a lot of these females happen to be of the lesbian persuasion. A lot of them married to other women, dating other women, divorced from other women. So the WNBA is littered with lesbians. And there hasn't been a single problem that I know of. I mean, minus there was a whole Brittany Griner DV thing, but you'll get that anywhere. But there hasn't been any problem with them in the locker room. So, A, can we calm the fuck down about gays in sports? It's working fine there. Doesn't seem to be an issue there. In fact, the NBA owns the WNBA or invested or whatever. Obviously, one of your companies is already doing fine with it. Can we stop with the worrying about it? And 2, any group or any person who is trying to push forward the narrative about more inclusion and less, why can't I think of it? Every episode, one fucking word. Trying to push forward less homophobia when it comes to professional sports. Show the WNBA as a case study. It's fine there. I don't remember, but I looked up probably 8 or 9 players. They may not have all been on the national team. I don't remember. But I came across, within 10 minutes of searching, 8 or 9 females who are openly gay and playing in the league. And the fact that I didn't hear that with all the sports networks and sports apps I have, the fact that those aren't headline stories show it's just fine. It's just fine. So if you're out there trying to push forward that narrative, trying to get that, show those numbers. You don't have to use names unless they want to, but just say, hey, look, 70% of the league, 60% of the league happens to enjoy the company of the same sex. No one's getting fiddled in locker rooms that we know of. I really hate doing all these people's jobs for them. For fuck's sakes, I figured it out for you. Regardless of what you think, the numbers are there. There's already been a case. What, the WNBA, by some miracle, has been around for, 25 years? Obviously, that number's probably been pretty close to the same. Oh, men are uncomfortable. Go fuck yourself. Get over it. Now that I solved homophobia in sports, you're welcome. I'm gonna go into why the Olympics suck. First of all, it's hard to call you a sport if you are included in a lot of other sports. Track and field, okay. Well, we'll have running. Well, running's in every sport, so you know what? You're just an activity now, alright? Oh, the shot put. No, you're just throwing a ball weird. A lot of sports throw balls. Alright, you're down to an activity. Oh, shit, rhythmic dance is an Olympic sport, yet there's rhythmic dance in gymnastics. Like, it's basically half that event, so what are we doing with that? And was there anything fucking worse than 3-on-3 basketball? Holy shit. And from what I saw, and this could have been dead wrong, they're getting rid of baseball and softball again. But no word on getting rid of that. That was the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life. How did America fare in 3-on-3 basketball? God, hopefully they saw it was dumb and went home. And then, I was gonna bring this. This just happened to. I was looking at the. I think it was the LA Times. Yeah, I was looking at a LA Times headline. The U.S. women's water polo coach says everyone deserved a gold just for getting there through the pandemic. Christ Almighty! And I can promise you that he or she, whoever coaches the women's water polo team, was just saying, hey, they all went through a lot. But the next line was the LA Times saying, we agree. It's that kind of thinking you only get when it comes to European and Olympic sports. You know what? Everybody deserves a gold just for being here. Well, we agree. I'm gonna do all of this Olympic shit talking, but you know what? I watch it every 4 years. I'm gonna watch it in 2 years. I'm gonna watch it in 4 years. It's going to... So, just know I'm a hypocrite, alright? Here's one of the biggest problems I have with it. If you are in a tournament-style event, if you're in a, thing where if there's a gold medal game and a bronze medal game, I don't care what they try to say. I don't care how they try to say it. If you win anything less than gold, you lost. It's that simple. If you come home with anything less than a gold medal, you lost. The U.S. women's soccer team didn't win bronze. No, they lost. However, the women's U.S. gymnastics team did win silver because everyone's doing the same competition and it's the top 3 scores. They did win silver. If you got silver in handball, no, you lost in handball. When it comes to track, when it comes to swimming, like races like that, where it's like the top 3 finishers, okay, even golf this time in Olympics, if you finished in the top 3, you get a medal, you won that medal. If it's tournament style, like tennis, like basketball, like volleyball, there's only one winner. There's only one. And there's this whole thing, sharing medals, sharing gold medals. What the fuck are we? Oh, this is the purest form of competition. No, it's fucking not. Not if you're talking about sharing medals. Not if you're calling a team who didn't even have a chance at a gold medal by the end of it, even if you're still calling them winners, where it's not. It's not. It may have been. The purest form of competition used to be 2 people stand in the middle of a coliseum and beat the living fuck out of each other. That was the purest form. Not my best analogy, but I like it. Yeah, sharing medals, sharing gold medals. Oh, they share the gold medal. Fuck you. Fuck you. See, too many European countries involved in the Olympics, and so you start getting that shit. You start getting that sort of thing. Well, they're going to share the gold. Okay, fine, but don't give them each one. You want to share it? If you guys want to call yourself both winners, we're both gold medalists. Oh, we tied, so we're both gold medalists. No, you were too afraid to take it one more round. That's all that is. Yes, I know there's ties in boxing, but they run those back. They have a chance to easily rectify that tie. The next chance you have is in 4 years, and who the fuck knows if you're still going to be there. No, so if you're going to say, well, we're going to share silver, we're going to share gold, okay, fine, you have to share it. It's like a kid, all right? Who gets custody when? Fucking Olympics. Real quick going on that, I don't want to go too far in the weeds with this purple-haired twat, but there's been a lot of things coming out. You know, there's Subway franchise owners who want her removed because she's too whatever. But there's all that stuff. We could talk about that. One of the other stars from women's soccer, Carly Lloyd, seemingly, in my opinion, called out Rapinoe, saying, hey, we weren't ready to play this year. We were too busy worried about other stuff, endorsements and social things, and we weren't really worried about the game. I don't know who that sounds like more on the U.S. Olympic team, but if she's calling out the whole team, that's fine, but I think I know who the catalyst of all that was. Here's where it gets weird. I haven't seen one article about that at all. Not one. Even the color commentator mentioned it twice in the bronze medal game. Yes, I watched it. Okay. And they almost pissed that away too, for what I know about soccer. But the color commentator brought it up twice, and the play-by-play, I don't remember if it was a guy or a gal, but play-by-play just glossed over it. And that quote obviously isn't a thing because I'm not seeing it come up. The only thing we're seeing come up is Donald Trump going after her. I don't like being the mainstream media guy and the nerd, but this kind of strikes me as one where there might be a bit of a narrative that's trying to be pushed across. If a teammate, a person on that team says, we might have been worried about too much outside shit coming into the Olympics, that should be news somewhere. That should be brought up. Regardless if she's talking about a specific person, if she's talking about multiple people, that should be mentioned. But since that doesn't go with the narrative that Rapinoe, or that everyone who's involved in that is the hero, that isn't being mentioned. We're just going to talk about the criticism from President Trump, who is the villain. I don't like hearing myself say shit like this, because I feel like I'm that guy. But in cases like this, how do I not say that? How do I not see that? I hope enough of you know that I am not that guy. Alright? The liberal media, I'm not that guy, but this case, it seems odd. But yeah, by the way, women's U.S. women's soccer team, you didn't win bronze. Alright? You lost. You came in third place. See, that's me tying up my main point here. Don't like the fact that I'm gonna have to do this, but we all know the biggest story of the Olympics. What was the flame? No, Smo Biles. It's funny. As soon as she dropped out, as soon as she backed out, I'm seeing all these articles. All these people are saying this, but here's why they're wrong. Here's why they're wrong. Here's why. I didn't see a whole lot of backlash against her. I did not see again, 27 different sports apps on my phone. Some of them include news. 5 different news apps. Some of them include sports. Kind of see where my head goes. I didn't see a lot of backlash towards her. I saw a lot of support. I saw a lot of that, but all these people are saying this. Well, I didn't see the backlash and the anti-bile stuff that was coming out. So, as a gift to you, I'm going to give you some. Backed out for mental health reasons. That's all well and good. Have we gone a little too far in the last 3 to 4 months? Maybe 6 months? With that being accepted? Oh, we need to accept it. We need to accept it. Yeah, we do, but let's scale it back a little bit, alright? You still gotta do your fucking job. Oh, we have to accept Naomi Osaka has been pulling out. Okay, that's fine, I guess. Naomi Osaka, the tennis player, can pull out of events because there's another event in a week. Smo Biles, you have once every 4 years to earn your paycheck. This was your shot. No one gives a fuck about you in between those times. I'm sorry, no one gives a fuck about gymnastics until we're 6 months away from the Olympics. Bitch, you had 5 years. You could have figured out you knew the date. You could have figured out your mental shit then. Could it be that your prelim didn't go as well, and maybe it didn't look like I was going to get a record this time, so maybe I should take my ball and go home. Maybe that's what it was? You had 5 years. You got an extra year to figure your shit out. Backing out for mental health reasons. Okay, fine, whatever. Just say you're nervous. Everyone's nervous. Oh, but 2 days later, she came out. She had a injury. Not injury, but she came down with the twisties. Really? You can't make up an Achilles injury. You can't make up an ACL. The twisties? Even that sounds fucking fake. I get it. Mental health's important. I'm crazy myself. I'm batshit myself. But I don't have once every 4 years make the millions of dollars I'm getting paid worthwhile. That's another thing. In essence, by not, I would say, in my less than expert opinion, all the endorsements that she has gotten, I would say probably at least 60% of them were based on being able to use her name going into these games. Like, hey, we have the best all-around gymnast. Visa can say, hey, look, congratulations again on our athlete. But she backs out. So in essence, doesn't it see, it may not be legally breaking a contract, but it seems like it kind of is, doesn't it? I guess I'm only saying that because, like, you know, if she fell and broke her arm, I guess that's kind of where I sound like a cunt. If she fell and broke her arm, I wouldn't be saying all this. But no, since she backed out because she was a little nervous, or she got a little scared, or it didn't go, or whatever, or because she has the twist ties or whatever, that has to be accepted. That has to be accepted the same as breaking your leg on a balance beam, and it isn't to me. And I don't think it should be. It should be dealt with. It should be thought of. It should be a thing. It should be. But to say that's the most important thing? No, it's not, honey. You've been making millions of dollars off all these companies based on you going here and performing. Just because you're a little nervous, have a little bit of nerves going into it. Oh my God, I need to back out for my mental health. You had 5 years. You have another, and then after 4 days, you had another 4 years to deal with all your mental shit. You knew that was going to be coming up too. So what? Another thing, she backs out of the team event, still gets one of the medals. What in the good fuck? She backed out. Again, it was due to mental health issues, which should be seen the same as an injury. No, it shouldn't. It shouldn't. It really, really shouldn't. Should it be accepted? Yes. Should it be accepted more? Yes, but we gotta find a middle ground, and that ain't it. Alright? We're going a little too far with the acceptance of this. Alright? I don't mind you pulling out of the event. Alright? I don't mind. If that's what you need to do, that's what you need to do. That's fine. But if you pull out over something like that, if there's nothing physically preventing you, but it's just as important, if not more important, shut up. If there's nothing physically preventing you from doing it, and you decide or need to back out, if you're a gymnast or a swimmer or some sort of athlete that we only give a fuck about once every 4 years, I think whatever you got paid in endorsements over the last 4, 5 years this time, whatever you got paid over that time, you should have to give some of it back. I think Uber Eats should get a rebate on their endorsements of you, because a lot of the contract that you signed was based on how visible you were going to be this year. And the fact that you decided not to be as visible, which is all well and good. I'm not saying you shouldn't or should have done it. I'm saying you owe Visa some money. You owe Uber Eats some money. You owe, what Tide was another one? Was it Tide? I don't know. She was in a lot of fucking commercials. You owe them some money because the contract they signed was based on you being... I think I would have a little less... it wouldn't bother me as much if she did more kind of interviews about it, or was willing to go on like, hey, look, here's what I'm dealing with. I didn't see that. She took her ball and went home. Her first, from what I saw, her first trial run wasn't going to break the Olympic record. So it seemed, she took her ball and went home. It's what it looked like from an outside perspective. PSA, I'm not sure how much I agree with any of that, but it was a good story. But back to the show. Another reason the Olympics suck. The judges were actually, I don't know if this actually happened, or they were actually talking about judging her down because of how good she was or how well she did on the floor routine. They were like, well, we probably shouldn't give her full points, so then these other athletes don't try anything it's dangerous. That only flies in stupid shit like Olympic sports. That's the only place this would fly. Honestly, if you went to a football game and said, hey, look, this wide receiver's a little too fast, all right? So because of that, after the ball is snapped, they have to stay there for 2 seconds to even the playing field a little more. Just there's not the potential of the cornerback getting hurt trying to keep up with the fucking guy. I don't know if that was actually a thing or not, but the fact that something like judging her less or judging them more so they don't get... The fact that it was even a thought or a thing that came up just shows you why the Olympics are garbage. Let me take a look. I think that wraps up my Olympic talk here. I had a few other things, but that just seems like the best of it. Well, we're starting to wind down a little bit here. Real quick, as I said, I am a bit crazy. All right? Not meth psychosis crazy. Don't worry, people. Haven't started the meth yet. I'm a little crazy. So I have weird thoughts that pop into my head when I can't sleep, or when I'm trying to sleep, or I wake up suddenly with all these great ideas. Voter reform. Yep. We're not talking about that for another, at least another year, not till Senate and House seats, right? Well, here's a quick idea for you guys. I have another compromise for you all. I remember there was a big problem about all these counties, these small rural counties that had way too much poll and way too many, or the districts have too many House seats because of how big their population is, because there are giant correction facilities in that area and they get to count them as their population. You're right, that does seem a little weird. So I came up with a compromise for you all, and I think I figured it out. I like how I'm all confident, and this is not going to be as good of an idea as I think it is. And in fact, no one's probably going to give a flying fuck. They're going to be like, talk about that Biles broad dropping out again. If you as a county, if you as a district, if you want to receive the money and the influence that you get from having that population, that increased population, you have to let the prisoners in that prison vote. Seems pretty simple to me, right? If they're getting counted, if you're getting paid because of them, they should have a say in it, right? But you have the choice. All right, you don't have to, because we get that. These prisoners don't necessarily speak for the local area, so I get why their votes may be a little misconstrued or whatever, not representing the. So that's fine, but you don't get to use them on the census. You don't get to use them to count how many representatives you have. You don't get to use them to count how much tax money you get. All right? There's so much just having your cake and eating it too nonsense. And this is just another one. Here we go. Pick one. Any district with a major prison in it that uses it for its tax revenue for all those, if it uses that population, it has to let that population vote. Solved another problem once again. God, I know you guys have missed me. Well, that's wrapping up the show here. Let me make sure I got everything covered. Yep. Before next episode, I want you to reach out to me. Britney Spears. Is she still nutty? Are we on her side? Is there a little bit of both? Let me know. All right. Because I'm fucking lost. I hear about, her parents are doing this and, they have all this. Like, oh yeah, that's fucked up. Then I look at her Instagram and she's posting weird ass shit. Fake topless pictures and just, I don't know. So, let me know where we stand with Britney Spears. All right, I'm going to look into it a little bit more. Maybe bring that next time. All right, well, I want to thank everybody for once again checking this out. You can always follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You know the email already? I told you. And hey, just a little reminder to you fuckers, all right? Since I'm not haven't been, past tense, very consistent with these, any of the apps you use to listen, you could set reminders or you could get alerts whenever a new show is added. So fucking do that, alright? I was a little angry. No, but seriously, thanks again. And I did mention on social media platforms that even though with all the shit that's been going on, I've been pretty inconsistent about posting this, my listeners are going up somehow. So I do appreciate everyone shouting me out, reaching out, and all that. I think that's all I got. So, since there is nothing else, I will see you guys all next time.